Hi guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of another reading vlog, a weekend reading vlog, and a special one at that. That's right, not only do I have some fun things planned this weekend, including trying to get my life together in preparation before travel, but I'm also going to be reading one of TikTok's most popular, most recommended fantasy book that I've seen recently, and I'm going to see if I think it's worth all the hype. But let's chat about the book I plan to read. So the book that's going to be centered for this reading vlog is The Atlas 6 by Olivier Blake. Funny thing about this is, like, I don't even know if my expectations should be high or low. Like, vibe-wise, synopsis-wise, I do really feel like I'm gonna like this. And also, I've seen people love it and hate it, and I just don't know which side of the aisle I'm gonna fall on. But I do love an atmospheric dark academia fantasy story, and this is definitely that in terms of the synopsis it's trying to give off. So a bit more about Atlas 6 and what it is actually about. The setup of this book is that every decade, 6 invitations to 6 magicians are sent out to join this secret society of magic users. Each individual within this book accepts this invitation for their own reasons, but now they're all in a competition against each other to try to join this very hush-hush organization. This is really said to be like vibey, very dark academia. I love a secret society. I love ritual. I love unnecessary pomp and circumstance, especially when it surrounds like magic and magical lore. So I don't know, I'm hoping this is gruesome. I've really, honestly, like, I have high expectations. I'm definitely not picking this book up hoping to hate it. I actually want to love it, like I do every other book I pick up. And synopsis-wise, like reading what this book is about, it definitely feels up my alley, and I'm hoping it's going to be able to deliver. The writing style is lyrical and dark and brooding. I hope it's able to capture that pretentious dark academia vibe that many of us know and love. So that is the book I'm planning to finish this weekend. I don't think it should be too difficult because it's not that long, but it is Friday evening and I'm actually about to head out to meet up with some friends with Clay, and then from there I'm buckling down and getting very serious about reading. Welcome to the vlog. Matilda joined me whilst I was filming that, and I hope you guys enjoy. Quick OOTD of my outfit for dinner tonight. First, just this cotton blouse from Dylan I got many moons ago, pre-love. And then number 2, I'm wearing these new jeans. I have been on the hunt for like a very high-waisted like sailor jean, I think they're called. I was able to nab these 50% off. Otherwise I would have not have bought them. I'll have them linked down below, but I think they run sales every once in a while. They come in a lot of different colors. I sized up one size. I'll be getting more if they run more sales because they're so cute and they're exactly what I was looking for, and I love this button. But anyway, time for dinner. Yeah. Look at me go. I'm such a homeowner, everyone. Good morning, friends. I've been up and at 'em, brewing some coffee, watering the lawn. You know, I gotta get my 2-hour watering session before 10 a.m. because that's when I can no longer water due to city rules. So just trying to keep the lawn looking fresh. But anyway, last night I did not do any reading, which was anticipated because Clay actually went out of town for like 24 hours. So the next 2 days, I have no one here to even bother me. So I have no concerns that I'm gonna finish Atlas 6. I'm going to brew this cup of coffee, enjoy it, do some reading, film, and then basically relax and just read and hang out for the rest of the day with Matilda. And yeah, so good morning, happy Saturday. I feel very productive about watering this lawn, I'm not gonna lie. Just finished filming. I'm gonna edit, but I also did some reading this morning. I'm so far away, let me flip you around. I am now gonna do a bit of editing, make lunch, but I did read 50 pages of the Atlas 6 this morning, and honestly, off to a great start. Hooked right away. Definitely a type of book that I usually vibe with. I'm so far like very intrigued, and I'll give you more thoughts and feelings, but just wanted to say, like, so far, so good. And I love that. I love that. Hi guys, so I wanted to do a reading update for the Atlas 6 because I have read, as I said, about 50 pages. And so far, I am rather intrigued about this book. So From what I've read so far, it's basically just all the candidates receiving their invitation to partake in this competition to join the secret society. It has to do with the Lost Library of Alexandria. The cool thing, and what I didn't know going into this book, is that this is a world where magic is rare, but it's not just one type of magic. You have like a specialization or a natural inclination to a specific type of magic, and it's something you're inherently born with. So each candidate generally has their own specialty, except for two characters who are tied together. They're like their biggest rivals, and they have the same type of magic. So you also so far are reading from every perspective of these candidates, which I think is cool. So I think we're going to have their unique points of view as they're working through these different trials. I don't know if there's going to be like some characters that are more main characters than others. First, we follow Nico and Libby, and they have just graduated from one of the most prestigious magic universities, and they're about to kind of like start the next chapter of their lives. Libby and Nico hate each other, especially, but I also feel like it might be one of those things where they might secretly love each other. But they're both physiists, and that basically means they can manipulate magically the physical world around them. We have Raina, who I think is the one I'm most interested in, and she is from Tokyo, and she's a naturalist, so she can control like nature and plants, but she has like the most raw power probably of the group. Next, we have Tristan, who has a mysterious past, and he can see through all illusions. Then we have Callum, who can basically like talk and convince people to do anything generally. Like he has the power of persuasion. We have Parisa, who has the ability to read minds. She's telekinetic. She has telepathy. And so therefore she always knows like people's innate desires and can cater to them. So we've really only gotten like these individual chapters of one person from the organization like individually convincing these people to become a candidate, and catering also the persuasion that they're using for each of these candidates. We're reading from their point of view as they're like encountering this information. So far, definitely selling this magical world, this very mysterious circumstances, and also just like the overall vibe is for sure landing, and I am intrigued. I definitely plan to read more. I am gonna make lunch now, do some cleaning, and do some reading. We're having a low-key Saturday, and yeah. Lunch is served, plus a little bit of a mess. This is just an arugula, couscous, hummus, red onion, falafel, feta olive salad, you know? Time for another cup of coffee. And I'm actually about to start reading again soon. I'm just trying to stick with my cleaning bug while it's around. Hi, it's time to do some cleaning, and to hold myself accountable, I'm gonna vlog it because I need to clean and then I'll let myself read again. So let's do some cleaning. All right, friends, cleaning session is over and I'm back to reading. My goal is to get to past 100 page mark before I hang out with my friend later tonight. I thought I would show you guys just a quick OOTN because I'm about to go get some drinks with a friend. I'm wearing like this one shoulder top, which I don't know, feels cute. The same jeans as yesterday because I am a big stan. And my beaded orange bag, and I have to say, I'm feeling pretty cute.
It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right.
There was cheese. Just like that, I am back home in pajamas and immediately in bed, and I am actually about to start reading. I want to read a bit more, and I'll probably do my next reading update in the morning. I'm liking this book a lot. One thing I will say is I really appreciate how much of an ensemble cast this book is. There's kind of like 6 main characters, and I like that we're shifting around from perspective so much. I think it makes the whole experience and structure of the book really interesting. So I don't know, I'm just really intrigued so far by the story. I like the writing style, I like the characterization and the concept. So far, definitely So good. But I have a good chunk of this book left, so I'm gonna get to reading now, and I'll give you more thoughts tomorrow. Good morning, friends. A cup of coffee, and the best way to start any day, blueberry Eggo waffles. Impeccable. Hi friends, good morning. I'm up, I'm dressed. I'm finally ready to do a bit of a reading update. I'm on page like 150 and I plan to immediately keep reading this book after I film this clip. And honestly, I'm really enjoying this story. A bit more context. So I think I mentioned last night that one thing I really think is cool and effective is that this is really like an ensemble book. We are reading and shifting from 6 different perspectives of all the different individual members who've decided to accept this invitation to try to join this very secret magical society. I could perhaps argue that 2 of the characters are slightly more main character than the others, and that's Libby and Nico. I think partially they feel slightly more main characters because they are inherently connected. So when we're reading from one, we're still getting information about the other and their points of view about the other. And they also have the same discipline of magic, so they just feel inevitably very connected. But even with that though, I love reading from all the different points of views and seeing how people are kind of strategizing, interpreting, and existing within this group of other magic wielders. And the book itself is honestly pretty intense from the get. Outside of this sort of mysterious organization that no one really knows anything about, there's also inherent danger that seems to kind of lurk with participation of being within this group of people. And combining that with there's 6 of them, but only 5 will continue, it creates a complicated situation of alliances and trying to also figure out who to trust, who to work with, who ultimately can help you pursue what you need, and like who can you take advantage of the best, or perhaps whose interest lines up most closely with yours. Outside of like trying to navigate a really complex and weird sort of secret organization, there's also this navigation of personality differences and quirks, combining with the fact that 2 of the people actually can either read minds or understand other people's emotions. So just everyone generally is very on guard and kind of trying to figure out, even while you are reading as a reader, like who are you rooting for? Who are you wanting to make it through? Like, I don't even really know entirely. The other thing that I think is really cool about this book is the magic itself. First and foremost, I think it's really interesting how there's different types of magic, and each of our main characters kind of has a different physical form of this magic. And on top of all of that, in their own way, they're kind of like specialists and like incredibly skilled within that field itself. So we're kind of getting like the creme de la creme of magic wielders. So just cool to see like very talented people do their thing. But what's also really interesting about the environment they're in, it's not that they're static, like they're still learning, but instead of like learning how their magic works, which is what you normally encounter in like magic school, it's more like they are pushing the boundaries of how far their already extraordinarily powerful magic can go, and we as a reader are kind of exploring that component, which is just really fascinating. But overall, the vibes are truly there. From the secret society, I am dying to understand and know functionally how it works, and you get like a vague idea of benefits for joining, but surely there's more than that. And just watching these super talented and smart individuals have these like highly pretentious conversations and all kind of jockey and try to push forward their own interest to secure one of these limited spots, it's just very much succeeding in what it's trying to put out right now. I just feel like the interpersonal intensity is there, plus the magical intensity is there, plus the sort of overarching question of like why is really pervasive in this book. And I don't know, I'm liking it. I hope it has a good payoff at the end. Like, I feel like the ending needs to be very interesting, but like, I don't even know who to root for really. Like, in my own way, like everyone maybe perhaps besides Callum is pretty interesting. So we shall see. We'll see how these alliances shake out, because that's definitely kind of the root of where I'm at with this. It's like people deciding who they even want to trust a little bit. So anyway, I'm gonna do more reading now. Hello, Minnie. Taking a bit of a reading break. I made myself pizza bagels and Tostina's pizza rolls because I'm a gourmet. And I'm gonna start watching season 2 of Bling Empire as a nice little break and Sunday moment of relaxation. Afternoon coffee and reading and Matilda keeping me company. Okay, but for real, I have an update. I am 2/3 done with this book, and even more than that actually. I'm really liking this book. I'm not gonna lie, I again go into every book wanting to like it, but I'm also not gonna sit here and pretend like I had a little bit of skepticism. I knew based on the synopsis, like structurally, I'm like, yes, this book sounds really interesting to me, but I also tend to have a little bit of skepticism sometimes for hyped books on TikTok. I've read many in my day and some of them land, like Song of Achilles, but I wasn't sure about this one. And honestly, it's exceeding like all my expectations. I also thought it was YA for some reason going into it. It's definitely not YA. I don't know. I just feel like it's created and crafted this vibe perfectly. I love the multi-POV, and I love that there's this clear conspiracy not only existing between candidates, but within the organization itself, and all of the figures, all of the players we're watching, discovering elements of either conspiracy, but because no one's really talking to each other, because you also have to be suspicious of everyone else, they are not able to put all the pieces together, but I am fully entranced. And also I just love how every character feels so different because of their abilities itself. Specifically, obviously we have Libby and Nico, who are these two like geniuses who went to school together. They're arch nemesis. They're working alongside each other, but they hate each other, but they have like a shaky alliance now, especially because at least they know each other in comparison to the other candidates that are at play. They have a physical ability with magic, so a lot of their skills is like very tactile. And we also read points of views like Parisa, who is a telepath, and her skills are very nuanced. Like she's slowly kind of sleuthing through people's brains and like trying to unlock and manipulate people in her very own and special way. But even she is very different from someone like Callum, who is an empath, who honestly is a very scary set of powers because he can directly influence people based off their feelings and kind of more make them do his bidding, and it just in a very different way. But Parisa's chapters specifically are so cool because she's really sleuthing for her own reasons, and honestly couldn't tell you exactly what they are. And then there's this pervasive feeling that this society itself like feels murky, and the competition itself, all the rules are unclear. And then alongside all of that, there's still like fascinating chapters of them like discussing the principles of time and space and matter. And like, I'm no physicist, so I only have like a very base level of understanding, and it feels very academic to me. I'm sure physicists might disagree, but reading it and from like a layman's point of view, like it's absolutely capturing the like highly academic, pretentious, strong personalities, people kind of looking out for themselves with this sort of murky and more sinister quality to the organization itself. I worry that I'm being repetitive, but it's just very successful through the different points of view. Like I really have no idea where this book is going to go, but I feel like the conspiracy is growing with every chapter, and I'm very fascinated. And just this world too that has magic and how it's been kind of harnessed by society, I think also is really interesting. And honestly, I am hooked. I love dark academia. Like I forget how much I love dark academia vibes until I read a book that is dark academia vibes, but I'm having a great time. I love when a book, at least so far, lives up to the hype, because that's what I'm looking for. I'm always looking for a great read, and this so far is delivering. I love it. I passed the 250 page mark, taking a break to make dinner, which of course is some spam. The book is getting wild. I truly have no idea where it's going. Also, Clay's back. And yum, I'm too lazy to make an egg out of sauce. I'm just gonna go old school. Just plain rice and spam, which is honestly just my ultimate comfort food. Dinner is consumed. Matilda is freaking out. But we are actually about to watch the Tony Hawk documentary. But I wanted to do a reading update of The Atlas 6 because I'm making very good progress. I really feel like I'm going to be successfully able to finish this tonight, if not tomorrow morning. The book itself has really gripped me. I almost feel like it's continuing to transform itself, almost like a human experiment. Like there's so much scientific experimentation going on and magical experimentation going on, but it's also becoming like Lord of the Flies-esque, like bringing humans to like their primal instincts in terms of having to make decisions for their own survival in a really twisted, academic way. Of course, all of this is naturally tied to the competition itself, and the fact that it's so vague in terms of rules an ending, and also like the organization itself seems sketchy, and there's this alternate organization that's like their greatest rival. It's very like Willy Wonka vibes in some ways, like people from the other factory like trying to recruit you. But it's all very dark and mischievous, and kind of reading through all the different points of views and all the characters are getting messily intertwined with one another. It's very addicting. I'm very entertained by this story. It really has exceeded my expectations. I think there's another book too. I want to say it's a duology. I could be making that up, but I should Google. But needless to say, I really have no idea where it's gonna go. It's continued to surprise me, so that's good. But now it's time to watch, you know, a documentary about Tony Hawk. This was so good. I think also as a kid growing up in the 2000s, I mean, Tony Hawk was a god. So this was super interesting. Hi friends, it is the end of the vlog. The next day, I did get a haircut. I wanted to sit down and kind of do like a comprehensive end review of my thoughts and feelings of the Atlas 6 because I have finished it. And I have also edited like the first part of this vlog. So I just kind of want to round up and give you guys my overall feelings. Because honestly, I really enjoyed this book. I went in with like medium to high expectations just based on the synopsis because it seemed like everything I could want. And in so many ways, Olivier Blake delivered. It's just a really cool story on so many different fronts. And just to like sum it all up, let's just bring it together. So first and foremost, in reading the last chunk of this book, the plot continued to just explode. I kept mentioning that I never really knew where this book was going to go. And that maintained itself to be true. And it also kept upping the ante in such a satisfying way. Like the end, I was like, yes, I cannot wait for the next book. And that ability to hook you and also ultimately deliver in a twist that feels cool, especially in a book that like is kind of obviously promising like, ooh, there's something suspicious behind door A, B, and C. Like, can't wait to reveal it for you. If the reveal is not interesting, like it can feel like such a letdown, but the full climax and reveal of the story was oh so cool. And the reason why I feel like the plot was able to be so successful is a few reasons. One, the writing was just really gripping. The stylization of it, just it really fit the overall aesthetic the author was going for. It really kind of dragged us along, left us wanting more. It was just the perfect type of writing and the perfect type of pacing for this book. I also really enjoyed that this book was truly an ensemble story. As I've said before, an argument could be made that Libby and Nico are the main characters, but the fact of the matter is you were in all of these characters' heads. Not only were you able to learn more about them, their past, their motivations, like their individual character arcs, from Nico's relationship with his roommate and his dedication and the love he has for that character, like really rounds out Nico's character in an interesting way, and you can see his motivations through that. Libby and her relationship with her family and her late blooming of magic and her connection to her sister. More about Parisa's past and her relationship with her family, and also her relationship with her beauty and how she's kind of able to use every tool in her arsenal to her own benefit. Like she has taken back pretty much all aspects of herself to her own power, which is admirable. For better or for worse, it's admirable. You learn more about Prasia's past, which see how that manifests itself in her telepathy. You follow Callum and his childhood and how him being an empath can kind of impact how he has to remove himself from emotions and like kind of the complicated nature of that. Tristan, his complicated relationship with his family, as well as him not fully understanding his magic, and so much of his character arc is kind of like confronting his abilities and learning how much further it can bring him, and also how he can sync up with other people and kind of expand their abilities as well. Lastly, we have Rhina, who has been kind of running from her power for a large part of her life too. She's definitely one of the more quieter characters, not only in like general speak, but she's super strong and her ability generally is just so cool. All of these characters felt fully realized, and through their different chapters, not only did we get a deeper sense of their motivations, who they are, but it made this cat and mouse of who is going to survive like so much more difficult, because everyone felt like the main character, especially the main character to themselves. Like no one was taking a back seat for other people. So it was super hard to figure out like who was gonna win at the end of the day, or which connections were going to stay through the end, because everyone ultimately was looking out for themselves the entire book. And that element of the story just made things so unpredictable. And then all of that is wrapped up in just a super cool human experiment secret society setting where all these characters are pushing the boundaries of their magic, learning more about themselves and their powers, and also using their powers on other members within this group. I would argue that there's like a main quest, but then all the characters kind of took their own side quests, their own side experiments, their own side intrigues, and how they're trying to learn more about what the heck is going on behind the scenes. And those chapters were just so cool. Specifically looking at Parisa, she's very beguiling, and like at times it can be hard to fully nail down why she does the things she does, but you can't argue against the fact that she's fascinating, and just seeing her control and manipulate people in her own way is just so flippin' wild. And just like all the things she was able to unpack and discover through her abilities was just amazing to see. I also really love books that are able to include like scientific topics and be able to communicate that this is like, wow, a really profound, difficult concept, but it's not hard for the reader to like follow along. Like the author is really able to like clue us in on this very intense academic thing without me feeling like I'm too dumb to follow along what people are talking about. Like somehow I felt like a part of the conversation, even though obviously I don't know anything about quantum physics or like time or physics generally for that matter. Like I know what gravity is conceptually, but like could I do a mathematical formula about gravity? Absolutely not. But I felt like I was able to kind of follow these very high level scientific conversations, and it was just a really cool setting to kind of find myself as a reader in. Yeah, honestly, I feel like I'm rambling between the really interesting individual character arcs, group character arcs that we were following, and a very intricate and fast-paced plot came together in a really explosive ending and really opened the door for some wild stuff that can happen in book 2. I just really enjoyed everything about this story, and I really just rambled on quite a bit at the end of this video, but like I couldn't put it down. I feel like it delivered in the intensity, the plot, the vibes, like all the full report card. I just feel like it really gave me what I was looking for, and I really liked it. So those are my thoughts. I honestly feel like this book is 100% worth the hype. Please let me know if you guys are wanting me to do this again with maybe another book from TikTok, from YouTube. I'm always curious because this was an absolute winner. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Goodbye.